Today I'm gonna walk you through another instructional video of my comic strip that I created back in 1995 called The Funny Guy. Today I want to really show you the frame by frame panels that I create on a weekly basis. I'll first start with the very first page. What I do is I do 5-page stories, and in order to do 5-page stories you have to have a beginning. I don't know if I'm wording this right, but I'll try to. You have to have a beginning page, always kind of lead you into the story. The second page is the page that leads you into the climax. It starts to show you exactly what's going to happen in the story. Gives you a little bit of a taste of what's going to happen. The third page, which is the middle of the week, is the climax. It's like what gets you to the peak of the mountain. And then once you get to the peak of the mountain, the fourth page is when you start to wind down the story, sum it up, whatever you've already going to introduce to the crowd, to your audience, you will have already done it within these 3 pages, and you're about to wind it down, show the rest, and then you have to wrap it up by the 5th page. Lots of times this is you have to be pretty creative. Sometimes when I'm doing the stories and it's funny, it's a lot easier to come by. But when I'm doing the serious stuff, it's a little tricky. But I enjoy it. On this particular story, it's about the character Fun, which is the name of the character. The story, the name of the cartoon is The Funny Guy, but the name of the character is Fun. So in this particular story, he's having problems sleeping, and I think I've done this one before, but I thought it'd be good to go back and revisit it, but actually put another different twist on it. Lots of times I do it with some of my stories. I'll have the character do something, and then I'll go back to it because I think it's a funny subject, and I can do multiple stories with it, not within month by month, or even every 6 months. I might go back every 2-3 years and go back and revisit it, but just enough to get as much out of that story that I can get. So I'm gonna show you, zero in, show you some of what I mean by what happens on this story. So this is the first page. And as you see, as I zero in a little bit more, kind of tricky. On the very first page, the caricature is laying in the bed, and he says, "Wow, I need some sleep." By the second frame, he goes to the sleep aid, which is the sleeping pills. So I just try to show you this is actually what he's doing. Third page, he begins to do what he's known for, which is making you laugh. Saying something, doing something funny. So he pops one of the pills. You don't immediately see that he is feeling the effects from the sleep aid, but then he finally just quickly gets knocked out. Third page, he becomes delusional, or you could say he's in a dream. And he starts to see things, which would be himself. About the 5th page, he says, "No more sleep aids for me." Like I said, once again, it can be tricky at times. But that is the challenge of being a cartoonist. Is to every week find some type of way to draw your crowd in. With these panels, I'll date them, and that way it keeps me where I can kind of catalog them by date, year, and I try not to go back and repeat the same stories. Occasionally I will come up with different stories, and I'll use different caricatures. This particular one, no other caricatures, the characters in the story were needed except the main character, because it's in his bedroom, which typically no one else will be there. So this was just something I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you how I do the panels. Lots of the panels, sometimes, depending on the story or the page, you might need 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 1 block. Like I said, I usually use pen. First I use pencil, and then I go from pencil to pen. I use a ruler. I don't want to trick you and make you think that I do this free-handedly. It's kind of hard to do this free-handedly. I do the cartoon free-handed, but not the actual blocks in the story. So this is not one that I created this week. I will show you a current one, but I haven't come up with a story yet. So this was made in 2014, which is actually the end of last year. So 12, 11, 14, 12, 12, 14. So this is fun, showing this to you. Like I said, next week I'll try to show you the actual starting process. I'll break down the stories of the new comic strip I'm going to draw. So thanks for joining in. We're going to call this show, from this point on, A Moment with Maupin. That idea was given to me by someone else, but I don't want to take credit for it. Somebody gets sued. So it means if I ever get rich, I'm going to have to pay that person for giving me the idea for that story. So I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Hope you inspiring cartoonists out there, or artists, learn something from this today. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Sayonara.